of Messina, and as I stand here I think of Spartacus. All those years ago, nearly 2,100 years ago, 71 BCE, stuck somewhere around there, near Reggio Calabria, and he wanted to come over here to Sicily, but he couldn't. Now in the film Spartacus, we're given the impression that the pirates actually betrayed him, took his money and didn't deliver on the goods. And I believe that one of the old writers actually says that. Now in the case of the film, he's at the other end of, the other side I should say, of Italy, and somewhere in the region of Brindisi. But in fact he was actually here, he was on the other side there. And it's rather strange though the way Spartacus actually behaved. There was this revolt which happened at Capua. They held out in the area of Vesuvius, and then they marched south and then north to the Alps. They got to within the Alps, then they decided to turn round. What's the reason for that? Were the people too frightened to go out the Alps? Did they think, well, at least in Italy we stay together as a unit and we're one and we can live from plundering the land rather than having to be farmers again? And maybe it was the success that went to their heads. But in any case, they came from the Alps back down here, which is pretty logical. One thing, I don't know if Spartacus was aware of this, but there's always been 2 slave rebellions in Sicily, and the first one had happened some 60 years or so before he came on the scene, and the second one happened some 30 years or so after that. Neither of them were as serious as the Spartacus rebellion. But did he know and did he want to come to Sicily hoping to get more reinforcements or whatever, and maybe hang out here, hold Sicily? Of course it's a huge island to be able to do that. In any case, he had around, according to the ancient writers, they had around 100,000 people with him when he was there. We read that he tried to make boats, some attempts at making boats themselves, but they weren't very successful. In the meantime, Crassus was very ably played in the film Spartacus by Laurence Olivier. Crassus built a wall to stop a very typical Roman tactic, as they did, for example, in Jerusalem 140 years later, amongst many other places. And Spartacus, this is strange because the wall would have been very long, something like 40 kilometers long, something like that. But of course, with his size of his army, he could choose a point and break out, which he probably did. Now, some accounts say have him dying there, somewhere around there. Others in the film, somewhere in Basilicata. I think the evidence, I'm not an ancient historian, I don't know, I just know I've read, is that it was somewhere to the east of Salerno, in a place which begins with Q, the name of which is gone out of my head right now, which is, the Q is unusual in Italian, and I think there's archaeological evidence to back this up. But there you have the view that Spartacus would have had, only in reverse. He was there and unable to get here. And the straits actually are not as narrow as they may seem. At the top end, you've got only just over 3 kilometres. Here, it's about 20 kilometres. So it's